Hello everyone, Avery here, and I'm so excited to bring to you guys my first ever YouTube video. And actually, I have gone the extra step to making this a voiceover video. I wanted to make sure that you guys had something maybe a little bit more exciting to listen to while you're watching this art. So if you want, you can just leave this video in the background and go draw, or maybe do homework and listen to me talk. That's what I normally do, and I thought that this may be a little bit more, I guess, usable if I do a voiceover instead of just put music, because usually music videos consist of very short length speed paints, and since I take an extremely long time, don't know why, but I take an extremely long time to draw art, I feel like this would have been easier for you guys. Anywho, the topic of today's art video is, even though you've probably seen from the title, starting art and commissions. Basically, I thought this would be an easy topic that I could start off my YouTube channel with. And it's also fairly simple that if I need to, I could ramble and I could help you guys since I've experienced this myself. And also because I don't see many videos of this go around from maybe a kid's perspective, since I am still a kid. And since I am still fairly new to digital art, only 2 years-ish, a year and a half, something like that, it's close. But since I am just starting as well, I could share my experiences with you and how things personally went with me. And if your question isn't answered in this video, don't be afraid to comment and just ask it there, since I don't have many fans and will most likely answer your questions right away. So where do you start when you begin your journey into art? Well, some people may say that it's with starting with sketchbooks and fine liners and doing whatever. But personally, I believe it's just finding a random pencil in your house and just some scrap paper, maybe the back side of your homework, and just drawing away and seeing what you can do and seeing if you really have fun with this. But I'm pretty sure most of you have already had your fair share of time in this beginning stage of art. So I'll mostly be going into depth about going further from your experience from traditional art into digital art, which I have to say sorry to all my traditional artists. I am not going to be explaining about oil pastels or painting and all that, since I don't have much experience in that medium of art. I'll mostly be sharing my experience into digital art and what I can do. So, say you're ready to dip your toes into digital art, but you don't know how to start. You look around for a drawing tablet, or maybe some recommendations and whatnot, but you don't even know what tablet is right for you, or what even is a drawing tablet. Here's an easy lesson for you. Tablets in the art community mostly mean those devices that you see that look like plastic, I guess, cutting boards. That's the easiest way to explain, with pens that come with them. Tablets in the art community can range from display monitors to just the plain old drawing tablet. The difference between those two is that display monitor tablets have, as in the name, a tablet-like look. They kind of just look like the big part of a computer, which is the screen. And what's included with them is a stand for them to sit on, the tablet itself with the screen, and a pen, which are probably the most expensive version of drawing tablets, so I won't be going too much into those style of tablets. I'll mostly be going into the normal drawing tablets. Since these ones do not have display monitors, they're just called drawing tablets, as so fit. But I also want to talk about a new and upcoming medium of digital art, which is the Apple Pen and Pencil. I've been seeing fairly a lot of people using this, and in fact professional and beginner artists have been using it. My friend, who is just starting digital art, actually just got one, and I believe that those are also a great way of starting art too, since it's a tablet but also a drawing, like a device you could use for drawing. I'm sorry if I do kind of sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, but it is kind of hard since I didn't really work that much into my script about these in detail, and so it's hard to talk about things right out of my head. I don't know, I'm more of a write out type of person instead of talking. I don't do that much talking. Anywho, this new device, the Apple tablet, has slowly taken over the whole entire community, with almost every artist using it now. Oh, it's just explaining what I just said. I must say that only you can choose what type of tablet, whoa, that was weird, what type of tablet is good for you, because I am not you. Only you can decide. So I suggest looking at videos to see the pros and cons of each one to know what could actually work with you. So you've finally chosen what you want to use to draw on. Great. Now, what do you do to actually draw with? Basically, your tablet is your paper, which means you need to find your pencil, aka the program that you're going to use to draw. And don't worry, I'll be explaining for both those who have the traditional drawing tablet, and also the Apple tablet, since I'm friends with someone who uses it and I know what type of apps work with that too. For those of you who chose to work with drawing tablets that connect with your computer, a program I suggest to start out with is FireAlpaca or Medibang. Both of these are free and made by the same company, or so I've heard. I don't know if that's true yet, but from what I see, they can both share the same type of drawing file, and it's fairly easy to use. The only difference with Medibang being a bit more professional and used by people who do more paintings instead of these like stylistic drawings, while FireAlpaca actually has a way to animate and its own animation like service, so you can create GIFs and whatnot. But they are relatively the same thing, and they're both pretty easy. From what I did, I started off with FireAlpaca, which gave me mostly easier version of the basics, how to do everything, and then I slowly transitioned into Medibang, which is a bit more of a professional version of FireAlpaca. But if you're on the market for a non-free, a little bit more advanced program, Paint-Tool-Sci is one of the most popular ones out there. I'm not going to be talking about Photoshop, since I don't think beginning artists should really look into that, since it's fairly expensive, and also it's very, very like advanced. I haven't even touched that or like tried it out. I do not suggest it starting out. It's not free, and I have no input on it since I've never actually used Paint-Tool-Sci before. Sorry, I'm going back to Paint-Tool-Sci, but from what I've seen, it's fairly more advanced and has a little bit more features than a free program would. But say you chose the other route and you're using an Apple tablet, I suggest using Procreate. Not only does it have a free version, but it also does have a one that's a little bit costly. The more expensive version of Procreate is actually just Procreate, the free version, but you get all the brushes for free, while Procreate, the non-free version, you have to watch like these ads every time you want to use one of their other brushes. I think they give you a wide selection of brushes that are free to use, but then you have to kind of watch videos to use some brushes for a certain amount of time, which if you're fine with watching a few ads once in a while, I definitely do suggest. There's also another program, I think it's called like IBS or IBIS. I'm not very into the phone or like tablet type of art, so I don't really know that much, but from what I do know, Procreate is probably one of your best bets into doing that style of art. Oh, and I have actually used Procreate since my friend does have a Apple tablet of her own. From what I saw, it is fairly good, even though like the non-free version was what my friend was using. From what I can see, their brushes are amazing. They're basically like Photoshop versions, like style of brushes, where you can do very sketchy lines, or you can do very like cool details with different types. Oof, my computer decided that it's gonna go on low battery. Oh well. Oh dear. My script has ended here, which means I'm gonna have to finally start rambling. Yay! So, say you found your program finally. You know what you're gonna be using. I suggest, since I don't want this to be too long of a video, looking into different tutorials and whatnot, since there are plenty you can find out there, and that's actually how I learned. I know there's they probably could explain things better than I could, and I have a Speedpaint in the background, so it's kind of hard for me to talk about things but not show you. So I definitely do recommend looking at tutorials if you want to know how to use some of these programs. Anywho, let's say you finally now drawn a bit more and you have decided that, oh hey, I kind of want to do commissions. From what I have done, I suggest drawing and then finally finding your style. I know I have changed, and a lot of artists have changed since their first commissions and their first like post on Instagram. But from what I can say, find your, I guess, starting style and maybe make a post on Instagram. And after you've had a bit of a following and your art has slowly gotten a little bit better from your starting style, you can maybe dabble into starting commissions. I suggest putting your prices low at first to see if anyone's interested, but commissions generally are a long time thing, so you might not get many commissions at first. It's only afterwards, after you've built more of a name for yourself and more of a community and more followers, that you can slowly start bunking up your prices. I actually this year bumped up my prices because I believe that I got a little bit better, and I'm actually proud of myself for that. But if you really do need help, suggest give suggestions to your fans, like, oh hey, how much do you think these would cost? Because your fans are your consumers and you need to know what they think about it before you can start, because it is fairly hard to start with prices that you really like if you want to make like money, because some people might not believe that those prices are the right amount of money for you, while others in other situations, some people believe that your art style is too high for your prices. So if you're slowly getting more tips and people are saying that you should be charging a little bit more and that you're undercharging, you should definitely bump your prices a little bit up and just wait and see how people react to it. If it's not good of an outcome, just wait a little bit more, and if it's still not good, I suggest maybe lowering them back, because you might need to get a little bit better before bunking them up again. But from what I said, when doing commissions are mostly a fan base thing. So you need to have a fan base to actually start commissions. You can't just go out there with no one knowing you and do commissions, unless you're like this fantastic person with like these paintings that are absolutely gorgeous. I definitely don't recommend having an Instagram following account with 0 followers, or maybe like 2, and then starting commissions. I know it might be hard to wait till you get a little bit more of a fan base, but from what I recommend, I suggest maybe drawing art for people who are a little bit more popular, and if they show the art, or like a lot of them do fan art Fridays and whatnot, that could give you a little bit more of a boost forward. And I know for myself, when I did fan art, it really does help because it gets your art to a larger range. And I'm not saying that you should like just make fan art for the clout, I guess, but if you want to like expand your following, I do suggest that and recommend it, since I know a lot of artists beginning like to do fan art and they don't have commissions to do. Another thing is also draw a lot of personal art, and I mean a lot. If you're not getting commissions, it might be because people don't know what your art skills are like or what your works look like. So if you just keep on drawing more and more art, who knows, maybe one day you'll get a comment saying that they want a commission from you, and that's when you should really open them up. Let's say that you finally started commissions, you finally have started to do your own thing. I suggest once you do get more popular, and this is something that I have not done, I need to do it now, but if you want to, either do it later on when you know that you're going to get commissions, or in the beginning when you want to make sure that you're ready when you do release your commissions. I suggest writing a TOS, which is an acronym for your terms of service. Terms of service are basically your guidelines and rules of what you draw, what you can draw, what your payment is like, and if some people back out, or how many times you can like redo a sketch, and if someone likes it or not. Some rules that some people follow, which I hope can help you maybe start your terms of service, is, for example, like I said, sketching. I know a lot of stories that have happened where an artist has done commissions and the commissioner keeps on saying that the sketch is not right, and they've redone it like 10 times until they finally figure out the person was using them and they like the sketches and they're just taking every single sketch, and then finally once they're done they say which sketch they want. So something you can start with is maybe only 3 sketches or maybe 2. Depends on really what you feel. So for your TOS, one of the terms of service could be that you may only redo your sketch twice, and they must choose out of the 3 sketches, your first one and the 2 ones that you redid. If they do not accept that, then they might not commission you, but that's good because I know a lot of people do not like scammers. Another thing you could put in your terms of service is how you're going to be paid and when. A lot of artists, when being paid, they like to do either full payment upfront, which is what I do, or half payment in the beginning and half payment in the end. Half payment basically is kind of like a make sure that you get your money in the end, and even if they don't pay you, you do have at least half of it, which a lot of artists, when they do that, they do not send the full image unless they are finally paid the second half. But I definitely do recommend, more or less, to start with half and then slowly go up into full payment, because it's much safer for you, and it's much safer to know that you're getting all of your money and you're not being scammed. Because I know a lot of artists also, when starting, they do art first and then get paid, and a lot of them end up never getting paid because they got tricked and they didn't know that the person was just going to take the art and never give them the money. Anyway, I think I may have gone overboard on the amount of time that my voiceovers are, so I'm fairly sorry if you're not seeing the Speedpaint anymore and that you're seeing the final, but this was basically kind of like a starting topic, and I hope the little tips I gave could help. I'm fairly new at this and I know that it's not that well, but if you want, you could have just heard me ramble the whole entire way, and I honestly don't mind. Anyway, I hope you all have a nice day, and I love you. Bye!